Hello everyone, today's video is about the topic the Mauryan Empire, which comes under the syllabus of class 9 ICSE board, and it is also important for the competitive exams. The Mauryan Empire was the first and one of the greatest empires to be established in India. It was founded in the 4th century BC by Chandragupta Maurya. He organized a powerful army and laid the foundation of a vast empire. He not only overthrew the Nandas from Magadha but also the Greek satraps from the northwest frontier and unified a large part of India under his centralized government. His successor Bindusara kept the boundaries of Magadha intact and further extended its boundaries. The reign of Bindusara's son Ashoka was one of the brightest periods in the Indian history. Now let us proceed to the sources of this great empire known as the Mauryan Empire. Under the sources, first comes the Arthashastra of Kautilya. Kautilya was best known as Chanakya. His real name was Vishnugupta. He was the advisor and prime minister of Chandragupta. Arthashastra contains 6,000 shlokas and is divided into 15 sections and 180 subjects. These subjects deal with topics like politics, rules of diplomacy, principle of administration, and other such political topics. This book was discovered in 1909 and its English translation is now available. The next source that gives significant importance to the Mauryan Empire is Megasthenes' Indica. Megasthenes was a Greek ambassador at the court of Chandragupta. He had been sent to the court by Seleucus, the Greek ruler. He remained in Patliputra for around 5 years. He wrote a book named Indica, which contains the impressions of what he heard and saw during his stay in India. This source is a great account for the Mauryan period as because it's a primary literary source. Ashokan edicts, which are mainly subdivided into rock and pillar edicts, are one of the most important source of the Mauryan Empire, particularly Ashoka's rule. The edicts are instructions of the kings to the people. They are inscribed on rocks, pillars, and caves at important places, roads, intersections, and highways. Ashoka's inscriptions are of two types. The first includes the declaration of the kings as the lay Buddhists, which describe his own acceptance of Buddhism and his relationship with the Sangha. The second group consists of the major and minor rock edicts and the pillar edicts, which describe his famous policy of Dhamma. The next source is the Great Stupa at Sanchi, which is one of the oldest stone structures in Indian architecture. It was originally commissioned by the Emperor Ashoka in the 3rd century BC. Its nucleus is a simple hemispherical brick structure built over the relics of the Buddha. The Sanchi Stupa, built during the Mauryan period, was made of bricks. Now we will talk about Mauryan administration. The Mauryan Empire, beginning with Chandragupta Maurya, was not only very vast, it was an empire encompassing on an all-India character. More so, the Mauryan Empire rose to power on the ashes of foreign invaders whom Chandragupta Maurya drove out of the country. It was Chandragupta Maurya who laid the foundations of an elaborate system of administration. Chanakya was his advisor and chief guide. Chanakya wrote a book named Arthashastra in which he describes the principles of politics and art of administration. Chandragupta's administration worked flawlessly. His son Bindusara retained the same system of administration and Ashoka made some minor changes necessitated by the change of heart after the Kalinga War. Mauryan administration had two main divisions, civil administration and military administration. Under civil administration comes the central government, provincial government, district administration, administration of cities, the revenue system, and the spy system. Now we will talk about the most important subtopic of the Mauryan Empire, that is Ashoka's Dhamma. After the Kalinga War, Ashoka became people's king. He embraced Buddhism but did not impose it on his subjects. He wanted his subjects to follow such a Dhamma that may be based on the unifying principles of a major religions of the world. The Dhamma, as described in Ashoka's edicts, is not a religion or religious system, but a moral law, a common code of conduct, or an ethical order which is a common meeting ground for all religions. The principles of Dhamma. Ashoka's Dhamma has the following principles: respect to elders and love to the young ones, ahimsa or non-violence. Good deeds or good karma would give happiness to man in the next birth, and he taught people to respect all religions. He disapproved empty rituals. Now we will talk about the impact of Dhamma on Ashoka's imperial policy. Religious unity. People belonging to the different religions followed their emperor's policy of religious tolerance. People under the influence of Dhamma started living a moral life. The policy of ahimsa did have a great moral impact on people. Thefts, crimes, and other such activities almost came to an end. With the policy of conquest and wars having come to an end, Ashoka's Dhamma helped officials to undertake public welfare and public work schemes. This resulted in prosperity and helped people to lead a peaceful life. Thank you for watching. I'll end my video here. Referred books Amazon link will be given in the description box. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel History Lessons for more historical facts, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.